So forgive the cracked mug and all and the robe, but it is like 7:15 or 7:17 in the morning. I have not slept and I have been up since like 11 or 12. Um, had a pretty fun day and everything, and if you're probably wondering what the thumbnail is, it was basically the Amber Rose Slut Walk, and I don't know, I just did that because, the Slut Walk was, I think, October, I want to say the 21st, but I could be wrong. I know it was a Saturday, and, it was, I think, in downtown Los Angeles. I know Amber Rose wants to take it to different places, but basically it's like, to change the paradigm of rape culture and to empower women, and the whole slut walk kind of goes back to, I believe, if I'm correct here, from what I read and what I researched into it, was there was a judge at one point, again, if I'm very correct on this, who basically, I, again, correct me if I'm wrong, said that the victim of rape or sexual assault was basically dressed like a slut. And again, it's kind of basically saying, like, our clothes are not permission as a woman, and also women basically saying, like, like, why can't we do what men do? And, like, just because we wear, like, tight clothing or, like, revealing clothing doesn't mean, like, that's an open door. And also, just because if a woman is a sexual being, that doesn't mean she wants to be with you, etc., etc. But, aside from that, you have probably seen me, or maybe not, in my United Sluts of America shirt. I know I even wore that today, so I don't know, there was just something I wanted to throw in there, because I was like, New Year, same hoe. And also, I was watching Super Jacob's video, and he was talking about the full moon, and I'm not really, like, into the whole, like, astrology or zodiac, whatever. Really don't know what it is, honestly. But I mean, like, I tried, but to me it was just, like, way too complicated. Like, in my mind, I'm like, look, I barely know what I'm doing. Like, y'all know, like, I barely started editing my videos, like, a good year and a half ago, if you've been following me. So, like, asking me to do, like, star signs and shit. I'm just like, look, Nostradamus did it, and, like, that's all I need to know. But, like, I'm an Aries. I don't know. I know my birthstone is diamond. Anyone out there wants to, like, buy me diamonds, blood diamonds, whatever, I'll take it. Whoever robbed Kim Kardashian's ring, I'll take it. And, I don't know. New Year, same hoe. I was just thinking about a bunch of things because I mean, let's face it, if you live here in the States, 2016 was a pretty shitty year. It was. I I remember, I believe it was around, well, today is Friday the 13th, technically. I mean, I haven't gone to sleep, so it's not like tomorrow yet, but it is, because, I mean, hi, good morning. It's like the morning of Friday the 13th, and like full moon or whatever, so I'm like, geez. And then I saw that movie, The Bye Bye Ho, or something like that, and, like, it's like, don't say it, don't speak it, or whatever, like, don't think, I don't know, it's weird. But I feel like I'm all over the place, but I mean, I always am. I mean, I'm redundant also, like, I always repeat myself, but aside from that, I really don't know what I was just talking about. But if I kind of backtrack a little, I really still don't know what I'm talking about. Again, I sound so crazy. Um, but New Year, same house, something I was going along with that, and I was talking about a movie, and I was doing this. Again, if you're still here, like, good morning. If you probably wonder why I'm having, like, a mental breakdown or something, and, like, why I look so haggard or, like, old or whatever, and, just, I don't sleep. I really don't. Zodiacs and stuff like that, signs, etc. But, I forgot what I was saying. And, anyways, we'll scrap that. If it comes back to me, it comes back to me. If not, like, whatever. But, oh, well, if you live here in the US, like, it was a shitty year, and at the beginning of the year, around, like, the 11th, I had went to see Madonna's Rebel Heart Tour show, and it was, I think, literally the day before my first semester started, for my freshman spring semester, yeah, my freshman spring semester. It was, like, literally the night before, like, it was horrible, waking up the next morning, but it was worth it. And this year, I think it starts. Yeah, it starts, like, Tuesday, so, like, in a couple of days. Like, it's already, like, my last weekend. I don't want to go back. I mean, who wants to go back to anything? Um, and I don't know. And I was talking with a friend and stuff, and I was just, we were just talking about life, catching up. We hadn't seen each other for, like, 2 years, more or less, and we just talked a lot, and we were also talking about, like, we really don't know where we're going. Like, I have no idea what my life is, obviously. I mean, look at my channel. Um, but I just remember saying, like, I don't know what this year has to offer me. I don't know where I'm going in this year. Like, I really don't have a set expectation. I feel indifferent, but at the same time, I just feel nothing in the sense of like I don't know what to expect. I don't know if I should expect something or like not in a bad way. Like, oh my god, like I really hope like this happens. No, like just like I don't know if like I should just be expecting like, man, maybe this year is the year like something's gonna happen or like maybe something bad will happen. But like in the sense of just like, is something gonna happen? Because like I need advance notice. Like I need to prepare mentally and then like physically and then also emotionally because you never know. But aside from that, like I mean there's two things. I believe one of them is tomorrow that I just kind of was stumbled upon, or I guess like they say, something in the stars just for me to just find something, so to speak. Because I mean, I go through my emails and stuff like that, and like blah blah blah, and like people message me, etc. But there was one thing that I saw before, I believe, getting a DM, and I was very surprised because in my mind I was like, wow, this is like full circle in a way for me. I mean, I use terms like very loosely, like don't take my word for it. Um, but I was like, wow, like these two things, if I do end up, if it ends up happening with me there, etc., etc., like it should be fun, like it should be a little like yay kickoff for like the new semester at least, because when I look back in 2016, I was like, you know what, it was a good year for me, and I have that proof on my channel. Like, I think the highlight of my year was South by Southwest, even though it was very like exhausting and stuff, and it was kind of like a mess for me. And then Carly Rae Jepsen, oh my god, I love her. Like, she is the nicest. She's nice. She has such a big heart, honestly, and I miss her so much. Like like if you guys watched the video and watched my first video that I made, the one with her CD booklet, like we had met at her signing, and I remember giving her like a little glittery card because I always like, I don't know, I always like make letters and cards to celebrities that I meet because sometimes people like forget that they're human beings and like stuff like that, and they just like think them being public figures like gives them the right to just trash them or whatever. And I'm always like, I understand what they go through and what, I guess, image they have to put up, etc., etc. And it's very like, I think, exhausting for them. But for me, like I just see them as a person. I was also talking about that in the sense of like sometimes I can be very, I think, misconstrued and misleading to the wrong people, in the sense of like they'd be like, you know. But like I mean, with me, like I go in good intentions. Like I'm not like a bad person, and like I know, like for me right away, like I can sense when someone is like the way that people, I guess, would assume for me to be, and I'm always just like very like. But going back with Carly Rae, like she was just so nice, and we had met and everything, and I always smile because every time I hear the song "Tiny Little Bows," that was a song that came on, like the whole store just. I don't know. There's something about that song, and something again about Carly Rae. Like she just has amazing music. If you could please, please, please get her albums, like you would not be disappointed. Like Emotion deserved a Grammy, and I don't know. We just met and we kicked it off, and like sometimes I mean I could have just been like in the high of the moment adrenaline. Like I don't know, like mental breakdown. But like you see people in front of you, like meeting, and for me that was the first celebrity I ever met, and I remember being like, oh, well, like I'm not really that nervous. But then like right when it was like my turn, I remember just being so paralyzed, like fear in the sense of like I was excited. I was kind of like obviously very nervous again, and very just like, oh my god, like that's a famous person, I guess, because um, younger me was a little sheltered from the world and like didn't know really what social media was. I mean, I got on it and everything like that, but I really didn't know. I guess the world. I was in a very very sheltered environment growing up, and again, like I said before, like one day maybe like I'll share my story and like bits and pieces of it because it's very sad and it's very wild and it's very. I think Kesha said it best. God bless her heart for what she's going through. If you don't know what Kesha has been going through, just look for free Kesha online, Google search, or just Google search Kesha and stuff like that. But like they say, crazy, beautiful life in all reality. And sometimes, again, I do look back on things and I'm just like, oh, wow. Like somehow, like, one, I'm still alive. Like, two, like, I'm still here. as they say in like 3, like I think I'm so like I feel like a cockroach, like like I just won't die completely until like I don't know. Let's see, you probably like squish the shit out of me, but you guys know what I mean. And with Curly Ray, like I remember just like oh my gosh, and then like just being there and then just be like oh like I was so nervous honestly, and like I think you had to have like the little booklet out or something. I don't really remember again if they had taken it out for me or if I took it out like in a rush or if she did it. But I remember just like putting it and then she signed it and like I guess she could sense that I was very like starstruck. Like I was very like oh my gosh, I'm probably blushing. Like my face is already red, but And then just she was just like, oh my god, like you're so cute, basically, and she just hugged me and she's like, can I like give you a hug, basically? And like she came up and hugged me. I was like, oh my god. Because, like, she wasn't doing that to people. And then, like, one thing that turned me off was, like, those people. Like, there were some people behind us, like, oh, my God, we're going to get the signature and sell it. And I was like, oh, my God. Like, it's people like this who, like, really take up the space that, like, a really big fan could have met her or, like, something like that. And, like, like, probably me who's just like, like, I want to, meet Carly Rae. Like, I don't know. Like, And, like, sometimes I feel like I just owe her so much because, like, her music and everything just, she always takes me back to, like, a happy place. And she just has this energy and this aura around her. Like, she's just so adorable. Like, she's, like, a fucking queen. And, again, like they say, full circle, like, we met again in Austin, like, a little bit before South by Southwest because she was doing ACL Live. And I remember trying to go to ACL, Austin City Limits, and, like, that never worked out. Like, those plans fell through and everything like that. And, like, I really didn't know who was really performing. I mean, Lana Del Rey, but you know the story. Like, it's a love-hate relationship with Lana Del Rey. But Carly Rae was doing that, and like again, like at that point in time, I was very, I guess, broken and defeated to a certain extent, where I wanted to go so bad, but like like when you get in your funk, like you just need someone else to get you out of it. And one of my friends, she like was basically like we need to go, like you're just being like a little like miserable bitch, and like we have to go, And in my mind, like it was the best experience and like memory ever thus far, and like I remember just meeting her again and just feeling those kind of same emotions album and just being like wow, like like she remembered me and stuff like that, and like she was in my vlog and everything. I don't know, like I kind of get a little bit emotional like looking back at it, and I was just so happy that happened. And then continuing on, like meeting Jeffree Star and everything like that, and just so much, and Simply Rayne's release party, and just Prince Royce and the San Antonio Film Festival, and like things that I'm just really excited I got to do when I look back, because I'm like, oh my god, like what was 2016 like? Like I felt like it was just a blur, and like elections and Hillary Clinton lost and the world is going to hell. But it was a fun ride. And Lady Gaga tweeted me like, oh my god, like, and Lord, I am in Wikipedia for like the rest of the life in that fan base, because Little Monsters, just, they're so crazy. Like, obviously I'm one, but like, like, the ones that are very quick to action, so to speak. Because she tweeted me polka, and like somebody was like, she invented polka, like, on Twitter when she tweeted it from her account, and I was like, oh my god, like, I bet you the reference tweet is gonna be me. Like, I'm forever gonna be known as Polka Boy or something, like, I don't know. Something crazy like that. But back to the New Year, same hoe thing. Like, in my mind, I was like, you know what, I'm still that same hoe that, likes to go out and have a good time, low key, and just enjoy myself. And the sense of, I think what I want to say with that is that just find your passion. And I know I've been reading Amber Rose's book, How to Be a Bad Bitch, and Shane Dawson, It Gets Worse, because I got those for Christmas. And Mr. Robot even sent me the Red Wheelbarrow, so if you follow me in those, like, you know what I'm talking about. And I've been doing like a lot of reading and stuff, and like rediscovering, and I did a little journal thing when I was feeling very down, like, crying my eyes out, like, oh my god, like, life is just horrible. Like, one of those moments, like, where you're completely just, it's like panic attack, mental breakdown, and like, just, you completely don't know what your life is. Like, you just, it was a lot building up, and I think I was suppressing things. And, I journaled and stuff, and I was like, you know what, like, I think I can get into this journaling thing. Like, have I picked up the journal? I mean, hell no. I mean, I've been promising a fragrance review for, like, I feel like a year and a half now. I feel so bad. But, I don't know, honestly, guys. Like, just find your passion. And one thing that I keep finding myself having to do, and someone else, and trying to help them, And I think I'm trying to come to a conclusion where, like, I don't have to anymore. But I'm saying, like, if you find your passion, don't really feel the need to explain it or justify it anymore. Just honestly do it. Because there's always going to be someone who's going to be questioning what you're doing. There's always going to be someone that has something to say. Like, you're damned if you do, you're damned if you don't. It's a double-edged sword with media, social media, the people around you. Because, like, even with me, like, with wearing makeup and, like, trying to do this and that, like, for me, like, low-key, I feel like I'm kind of finding a new passion for myself. And I've been doing a lot of behind-the-scenes stuff, and, like, I know, like, my channel's, like, kind of been, like, a mess, and people are like, what the fuck are you doing? Like, but, like, I've been doing, like, a lot of behind-the-scenes stuff, and I really feel like it's nothing for me, like, to be like, oh my god, you know, but, like, in the end, I just hope everything works out. But I feel like a lot of people look at me and, like, I know people, like, hate watch me, so to speak, in the sense of, like, they look at me and they're just like, it's always been like that growing up, like, especially in middle school and stuff. Like, I've always felt like that person that people, like, you love me or you hate me, and, like, there's really no in between. And even then, like, those people who like me, like, it's like, how many are going to be there at the end of the day, honey? Because, like, things have switched and things have gone south and stuff, and, like, people have been very mean to me, and just, it's been a wild ride being me. But again, like, if you find that passion, if you find your calling, or, like, you want to try something new, again, please just don't be scared and don't be like me. Just honestly go for it. Like, grab the bull by the horns, I think that's the saying. And just truly express yourself. Live your life. Like, we are really, like, there's, like Demi Lovato says, we only got one life to live. And, like, her Give Your Heart a Break song. And it's like, life is literally too short. And I think, like, I've kind of more or less slightly put that into perspective, because y'all know, like, I was in a car crash, and, like, even to this day, like, I still have some repercussions, you know, of damage on the inside. Like, sometimes, like, I move a certain way, or, like, sometimes something's hurt, and, like, I literally cannot move. And I don't really share that with anyone, but, like, I mean, I feel like I can talk to you guys, like, with my in bed with Pedro. And, like, sometimes it's so paralyzing and it really hurts a lot, and, like, I don't really know how to say anything else except, like, just, I think that is putting into perspective, like, you know what, like, through the pain, through this, through that, like, just do what you want to do, and, like, let that be a reminder to yourself, me personally, that, like, anything could happen in, like, the split of a second. Like, you know, like, that car crash that I was in was very bad, and, like, they say, like, oh, you know, like, you were just, like, this closer, like, or they hit you just a little bit harder, like, you know, like, people are like, oh my god, like, you're like, calm down, like, I'm in this fucking emergency room, like, having a moment, like, I still don't know what happened, like, I'm still, like, on the adrenaline rush, and, like, I want to cry, but I don't, because I don't know, like, what was wrong with me, and, like, they're injecting you with shots to numb the pain, they're giving you, like, prescriptions for, like, pain pills or something, and you're just, like, I don't want to take pain pills, but at the same time, like, this fucking hurts, and, like, I'm gonna be okay, but, like, ooh, it's, like, it's barely, like, well, not even a year, really, like, I don't, just, it's been a long time. I mean, it hasn't, but you know what I mean. Like, in retrospect, like, it's been a while, but it's not, and, like, it's still fresh, and that's why in my mind, like, I'm trying to tell you guys, like, if you find a passion and you find something, like, there's something you want to do, just honestly go for it. And one thing I like from Manny, MUA, and Patrick Star, I know, like, they have, like, their own, like, little scandals and whatever, like, drama channels, etc., etc. But, one thing I liked about Manny is, like, well, if you don't like me, like, don't fucking watch. If you don't like my videos, and, like, that's one thing that I'm trying to, like, put into my mind as, like, a motto, or, like, something to live off of, like, a quote. And also Patrick Star with his makeup quote, where he says makeup is a one size fits all, and at the end of the day, like, it wipes off, like, makeup wipes off at the end of the day, and it's really not hurting anyone. Like, that's what, like, people, like, just want to tear you down, and they're gonna do something to do it. There's gonna be stereotypes, there's gonna be, like, gender labels, there's gonna be this, but honestly, who cares anymore? Like, it's so crazy, like, how bothered someone can get, and how, like, insecure they feel about you doing something. And that's why I'm like, guys, just New Year, same hoe, be you. Just be bolder, be braver, be more courageous and kind and accepting, or something. Like, just don't be that person. And honestly, look at yourself when you say things, because I know with me, I've been telling people, like, sometimes I say things, or, like, I want to say things, but then in my mind I'm like, well, what if you're in that position, or, like, what if that was you? And, like, I try to think about, like, putting myself in, like, I guess being empathetic, but not in the sense like, oh my god, like, what if I was, but you know what I mean. Like, basically, don't say things like, knock on wood, be glad you're, like, in a better position or better off, so to speak, in, like, certain situations. And not saying, like, I'm looking down on people, but, like, you know what I mean. Like, you know how sometimes we're just like, oh, well, you know, like, just, you know, what I see. But, like, don't be that person, like, oh, you know what I see, and, like, stuff. But, like, be very conscious and aware of, like, what you're saying. kind of the energy that you're putting out there. And like, just again, be very mindful of what you do to others and stuff. And like, I feel like at some points I'm like talking louder than usual because like my stomach's growling and I'm very hungry and I like it'd be very embarrassing if you hear, but I'm a big girl and girls gotta eat. But again, just it's been a crazy, crazy year, and I just on the 20th of January, I just the end of the world, honestly. Like the U.S. had like one, they had one job, and just it's sad to see such ignorance live on and persist to this day, coming with a lot of things. And be mindful that I think every 20 years we kind of go into a conservative period. And I think obviously like we're going to 2020 close more or less. And we are basically nearing the beginning of that conservative period. Like we are nearing the end of like a liberal period and the beginning of a conservative period, like slowly. And I feel like people are going to be very like uptight, very rude, very harsh and stuff. And there's a part of me that doesn't want history to repeat itself in some ways, and there's a part of me that's very afraid for others and very afraid generally for basically who I am, like my race and stuff. And again, like background and everything like that, because like it's just, I feel that I have seen certain things, I have read certain things, and just, I mean, even before, like it's been, like they say, bad, but like now obviously things can be worse because people will feel like they have a ticket to do ABC or whatever, like XYZ. I don't really know. And it's just crazy to think about where I think we're all going, because honestly, just is what is life? I mean, we won't know until we're dead. And sometimes I'm like, what if we just cease to exist? Like, a light bulb burns out. Like, the fuck are we supposed to do? Like, what the fuck? Like, that sucks. But, I don't know. And also seeing movies like Alice Through the Looking Glass and Pete's Dragon, I think really affected me, and also Lady Gaga's album Joanne, and kind of touching certain parts of me, like they say, my heartstrings, and certain, I guess, facets of who I am and things I haven't like really come to terms with. And I know that sounds very, very weird again. Like one day, like I'll make a couple of videos, like a tell-all, so to speak, or like write a book or whatever. But I just, there are things that I'm not ready to face yet, and there are things that I don't know yet, and things that have happened, and like life milestones, I guess, like things that everyday people go through. But again, me like just being like that weird messed up person that I am in my head, in the sense of like I don't know how to really come to terms with certain things. I really don't know how to deal with stuff. But also, one thing I did do that Super Jacob was talking about was basically a fresh start, letting go, and like one thing I really found difficult, and trying and trying and trying for really no apparent reason, I guess, and like a selfish, like, oh my god, like, reason, was I had to really let people go. And it really did hurt for some time, and I just, I mean, what happened, happened. I mean, nothing was really of ill will or anything, or like nothing bad, like, oh my gosh, like they hurt me or something. But, I just learned that, you know what, like, you can only keep trying for so long. It's kind of like when people say, like, oh, you can't help someone who doesn't want to be helped. And I feel like that was kind of like the mindset that my friend was helping me, like, learn with these other people. And it's like, you know, like, you try and try and try, and, like, they put up so many excuses, like, and this and that. But you can tell, like, they just don't put in effort. And, like, with this other person that I was met today with after 2 years, like, we had that, like, patience with each other. We had that, like, desire to still be friends, still be in contact, still help each other, like support each other. But like these other people were just so, like, I feel negative in a way that they were doing something subconsciously to me, as they say, in my thought process or in my thinking or my mentality, that I was like, oh my gosh, like I'm gonna like lose these people, and like I'd be like, oh my god, like, you know, like love you girl, like let's hang out or something. But then, like, every time, like, something would happen or blah, 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 like, I feel like you guys are like, what the fuck are you talking about? I mean, I'm all over the place every single day. I really don't know what I'm talking about, but I know like I'm getting sad, and at the same time I'm like trying not to be like, ugh, don't cry or something. But I just had to learn to cut people off. And I felt mean doing it, but at the same time, I was just like, you know what? Like, it's like negative energy. It's like bringing you down. You're mopey. You feel a little bit miserable. You're always like, at the same time. And to certain things, I felt very alone, but I feel like right now, I feel very secluded and very individual. In the sense of like, I really feel like just it's me right now, and like, not in a selfish, like, oh my god, like, it's just me, but like, I feel like it's just me. And that is like almost like a scary feeling in the sense of like I don't really know what to think of that, because I'm like, is that a good thing? Is that a bad thing? Or like whatever? And I know I'm like, you know, like Amber Rose Black China, like I can be like a total hoe and be like daddy issues or something, but at the same time I'm like, what is my life? But I just, it's weird. But again, if you have to cut people out of your life that are just not really beneficial to you, to your mental health, to your emotional health, or whatever, your growth as a human, or your growth, like if you do, I don't know, any, like, I don't know, like YouTube or something, so to speak, then just let it go, you know, let it go, and just grow on your own, find your path somehow. Again, like I told my friend, I said, we just, like they say, gotta take it day by day and just hope that somehow we're doing something right, and eventually this whole game of life will just work out for us and just go the way we hope it does, and the unofficial plan we have planned for ourselves. Because like, it's just like we were talking about our things, like, you know, like we just really don't have a traditional like A to B to C, you know, and like it's just, if there was one, like, you know, that'd be very helpful, but you know, it's just, again, just doing things on our own and stuff like that. And like, you need people who are going to support you and who are going to be encouraging of you and who are just going to push you even when you're afraid, even when you're like whatever. And like, even though like it comes off rude and you're like, oh my god, like don't tell me that, like it's very helpful. And like I found like a couple little things like from my friends that like, if they really wouldn't have pushed me, if they really wouldn't said certain things, then I wouldn't have done what I'd done, and I wouldn't have like met who I met, and like done certain things behind the scenes. And like the other people, like just, I feel like I would have been like still like being like, oh, like hey, or like whatever, and like still trying something to like keep a connection. But at the same time, I'm just like, you know what, like F it all. Like, again, it's, I guess it wasn't meant to be in the end. And it's just, you know, you grow as a person, you lose people, you find new people, and you're the same hoe. It's just a new year, like, you know, just no new year, new me, like new year, same hoe. And I don't know, but I really hope you gain something from this video. But again, if you have a passion or whatever, and like you're kind of dealing with what I was dealing with makeup, just, there's no need for you to justify or explain the reasons why you want to do something. If you feel like that is an extension of you as a human being, part of your creativity, your soul, like just things you want to emulate, or things you just love, or things you kind of, you know, more or less found, and you've always had an interest, but now that you're doing it, you're like, wow, you know, like this is really fun and stuff, and like you're just having fun doing something, and you find that it can relax your anxiety or something like that, and just kind of help you cope with life, or you know, cope through a morning, or like, you know, just feel better about yourself. Because I mean, I'm here barefaced and all, like, you know, acne, just whatever, but I like getting like dolled up, so to speak. And I really hope, like, if you're afraid to get dolled up because you're a boy in makeup or something, or like you're a girl and you're like, oh my god, it's gonna look cakey, or like you're gonna look like the bottom of a Rice Krispies bar or something, like honestly, who cares? Again, you're damned if you do, you're damned if you don't. Like, you're gonna wear it and people are like, oh my god, like your face looks like that candy bar because you have pimples. Or like if you don't, they're like, oh, like, you know, try a little concealer or something. But again, like, you're never gonna win. And honestly, just do you and just have fun and just really try not to let things bother you. I know that's always easier said than done, but just don't justify to anyone what you have to do if that is your passion, if that is your calling. If you're finding something that helps you in any way, if you're finding something that you're having fun doing, if you're finding something that just whatever, if there's a new start, if you're afraid to do something, honestly, just please go for it. Don't be like me in certain situations that I don't do things because I'm afraid. And in all reality, everyone's afraid of the unknown, but what do we really have to be afraid of if we don't even know what to be afraid of? Like, just go for it and just, again, have fun. Like, life is so short. And like with me, with that car crash, or like certain other things that have happened in life, like you honestly don't know how long you have. Like, in our minds, we're like, oh, you know, we have our lives ahead of us, but time flies by fast, y'all. Like, I remember, like, just again, I'm so surprised of how far I came back, and I feel like I'm getting a little emotional right now. But I remember, like, literally overnight, like, the biggest change in my life, and then here I am, just years later, and it's weird. It's just, it's again, I'm all over the place, and looking back at things, I'm just surprised at how far I've come. And I don't know, I feel like that's why I like this, because I feel like I can at least talk to someone out there who's going to find this video a little helpful or whatever. And I really don't want to. Hi, so can we talk about how my phone died on me? And, like, God was basically saying, like, you've had enough, like, you need to go to sleep. But, I guess I'll end the video. Like, we lost all the magic there. But just please don't ever give up on yourself, and don't, like, justify what you're doing, and just live a life you're going to be proud of. And learn from me not to be afraid of doing things, and to just embrace whatever you're going to do next. And I just, and if you have to let go of people, let go of people. If that means you can grow, that means you're not going to be held back. And I guess, anywho, really, because I mean, it's, I tried filming on my laptop and stuff, and everything's just dying on me. And, like, just, God is like, nope. So this is plugged in right now, but it's, so, anywho, I want to say hi to Rami Malek, and stay safe, and God bless you guys. And hi to Rami Malek, and just, who knows how long until my next mental breakdown. So I really do love you guys, and just thank you for allowing me to do what I do. And just, again, Rami Malek, hey.